In the years that I've been a pastor, this is the first time that St. Valentine's Day has fallen on a Sunday. So I thought I'd try to do something special. I thought about some pink heart-shaped bulletins, maybe with some conversation hearts stuck in there. Or something special for communion, maybe some chocolates and white grape juice. But I just didn't have time for that. But I was able to change the pew cushions to red and also make sure we had the red Bibles and hymnals in the racks. So I feel like that's pretty good. Traditionally speaking, today is the feast of St. Valentine. Easter and Christmas are your major feast days. It's a feast day of lesser importance. Legend has it that the original Valentine was a Roman priest in the time of the Roman Emperor Claudius II. And Valentine was arrested for helping Christians get married and helping Christians with other things in a time that it was illegal to help Christians in any way. And then once Valentine was in custody, he got to know Claudius II a bit, and being the good Christian that he was, he tried to convert him. Come on, Claudius, just let go of your empirical ways and your power. Just let it all go and your riches. Just let it go and join the way of Jesus. But Claudius wasn't moved by the Spirit, and Valentine was executed. So be careful who you invite to church. Many people say that the feast of St. Valentine was established to steal the thunder of the pagan holiday Lupercalia, held on February 15th. Lupercalia was a celebration to rid the city of evil spirits and to bring health and fertility. Now, despite this connection to fertility, it wasn't until Chaucer in the 1400s that Valentine's Day became associated as this day of romance. And then in the 20th century, there was the invention of the conversation heart, and the rest was history. Now, what does this all have to do with Transfiguration Sunday? I haven't the foggiest idea. I don't know. I've been looking for a connection all week long, and I just didn't find one. Transfiguration means change. And we celebrate the story today of Jesus going up the mountain with the disciples and then being transfigured before their eyes. Moses and Elijah show up representing the law and the prophets, and they talk to Jesus about what will be happening through Lent and especially in Holy Week in Jerusalem. And Jesus' clothes are dazzling white, and the glory of God shines all around him. And the disciples see Jesus for who he really is, the very presence of God. And then the cloud overshadows them, and a voice says, "This is my son, my chosen. Listen to him." And then whoosh, the cloud vanishes. Moses and Elijah vanish, and Jesus is just standing there in his old clothes, and the disciples are so dumbfounded they don't know what to say. The Transfiguration story is in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, but Luke is the only one that says Jesus is going up to the mountain to pray. And I actually ended up talking about prayer on Jesus' baptism Sunday, which marks the beginning of the season Epiphany, because of the stories of baptism in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Luke is the only one that says that after his baptism, Jesus is sitting and praying. Luke is very focused on Jesus' practice of prayer. Jesus is always going off to pray in Luke. And since I've been focusing on prayer in my own spiritual life, this week I read the Transfiguration story while thinking about prayer as well. My own prayer life, if I dare use that term, has transfigured itself over time. When I started in pastoral ministry, I didn't know what to do with prayer. I felt comfortable praying for others and leading others in prayer, but I didn't know how it fit into my own faith. I developed a practice of intercession. I had my list, and I practiced that. But I had this feeling that prayer should be something more, and I meet colleagues of mine and friends of mine who meditated regularly. They prayed a lot, and they had this aura about them, this energy that flowed from them like this fog along the ground, and you'd step into their presence, and it was like sitting next to a still body of water, and they would greet me with eyelids half open. "Hello, Todd. How are you?" And I'd think to myself, wow, that serenity, that peace, that inner calm, I want that. And I'd ask them, how do you get that? And they'd say, "You must pray, my son. You must pray." So every year as Lent rolls around, I focus again on prayer and meditation. I read a new book. I refocus my practice. At first, this type of prayer meditation was hard. It felt so strange to sit for 15 to 20 minutes and do nothing every day. And I was like, what's going on here? I thought for a while that, I just can't do this. My personality is not, my brain is not wired to be able to do this. I've got to be doing something all the time. This is just who I am. I'm not like those people that can pray and meditate. And then I realized, no, this is something I need to do more than anything else, is be able to sit and practice this way. I have a questioning and visioning sort of personality. I'm analytical, I'm a thinker, and I love to think about possibilities, and I love to rehash the past. I'm really good at that too. And I can dream dreams and see visions and see these beautiful visions of possibilities, but the shadow side of this is that I can get lost in that dream world out there. And I miss all the sacred things that are happening right under my nose. My wife, my dear sweet Valentine, calls me Future Boy. It can be my superhero alter ego. All I need are some tights. Well, this year, as I read the Transfiguration, I identify with the disciples, sitting there on the mountain with Jesus, waking up from their stupor from